management did say that there are some concerns and that it is going to be a challenge going forward.
Absolutely. The catch cry in the mining industry is still cost cutting, so it is going to be a volatile environment. Having said that, Orica's result coming in at $601 million, if you strip out the material items, that was down 7.5%. And although it was down for the full year, we are expecting to see growth in the current financial year, with Orica saying that they do expect that FY14 results will be better than the ones that they currently reported. I guess the big part and the most important market for Orica is that explosives part, or the mining services, and there we did see a higher contribution than expected by that area. So the fact that we are seeing the coal miners still doing it quite tough, but we did see the contribution there being higher was a positive result. The EBIT for the chemicals division, though, was down by 8%. No huge surprises there. We know that when we have a look at things like sodium cyanide, which is used in the leaching of gold, well, that's the demand there has been down because of the gold price. But all in all, the numbers coming in ahead of our expectations, and the fact that we are expecting to see growth in the current financial year is a good outlook as well.
Seeing some broker re-ratings on the stock?
Well, I think that the results and the outlook is looking pretty good for Orica. Having said that, though, when you do see double-digit gains in one session, when the stock's up 11.6%, part of that is usually short covering. And Orica is a stock that has underperformed in 2013. The stock's down by 15%. So no doubt that we are seeing some short positions being covered off, and that's led to the massive spike that we've seen today. So it's going to be interesting to see the performance tomorrow and whether this is the start of a more prolonged uptrend, given that we have seen the stock underperforming in 2013.
Okay, another one that we're watching today, Michael, was QBE. Well, it seems that we've lost Julia Lee. Let's just move on then. Oh, we do have Julia back. Julia, did you hear my question? It was just, how do you rate QBE's management at this time?
I think it's been a really difficult time for QBE Insurance. The last 24 months we've seen a huge amount of catastrophes, but I think this is a stock that people play not because of so much of the management, but because of the macro themes. And the big theme in the market at the moment is the stronger US economy and the quicker tapering that's expected to come out of the US. And if we have a look at what happened on Friday, the US jobs numbers were much better than expected, 204,000 compared to expectations of 120,000. We saw bond yields jumping, we saw the US dollar strengthening, and that's a double positive for a stock like QBE Insurance. You want to see those US bond yields rising, and you want to see the US dollar strengthening. There are other stocks on the market, on the Australian market, that you can use to also play that story, more the US dollar strengthening story. And there's stocks like ResMed, which was up by 2.3% today. Fox, or the 21st Century Fox, up by 2.3%, and Computershare up by 2.1%. So those companies with a large exposure to US revenue doing well on the market. The market was looking a bit vulnerable from a technical point of view, and that trend has continued. We're still below that 5,400 point mark, which is a psychological mark, but also 54.26, which is the golden ratio, or the 61.8%, from the low that we saw in 2009 during the global financial crisis to the all-time high of the market back in 2007. So still some hurdles for the market to overcome technically, and I think just the fact where valuations are, we're seeing also on the investment side of things, investors getting a little bit nervous about the valuations of the market. Having said that, though, come December, we will see a lot of those dividend checks hitting the market, and we'll see those dividend reinvestment plans coming into play, as well as investors investing back into the market. So expecting to see a rally into year-end.
And today, I mean, we saw the banks down, widely speaking. Is that just, shifting of taking some profits out, Julia?
I think so. We saw 3 out of the big 4 banks trading ex-dividend last week. So the fact that we've seen those dividend payments for those 3 banks over for another 6 months probably sees a little bit of portfolio shuffling. I'd say it'd be more the professional fund managers looking at taking some of the money off the table. Given the phenomenal returns that we've seen from the banks in 2013, we've seen banks like NAB up by a massive 44%. Even Commonwealth Bank a few weeks ago was reaching all-time record highs, and we've seen a jump of about 22% there. So we're seeing gains of about 22 to 40% for the banks in 2013. It looks like some of those profits just being locked away.
Well, yeah, let's just talk Elders, because we started on a high. I hate to end on a low, but Elders had a really poor day, down 15%, really coming clean to the market and looking at a loss this year of about $510 million.
It does look like it's going to be another difficult week for Elders, so expecting to see a loss of $510 million when they report their earnings on the 18th of November. And we're also watching out for a report coming through from the forensic accountants, and that has to do with the discrepancy that we've seen in terms of the valuation of the live cattle business. That's probably going to be about $18 million, but still some uncertainty surrounding that as well. But if we have a look at Elders in the last month, we've seen a massive refinancing, we've seen asset sales, we've seen more job cuts. But I guess the key for Elders is that it's a leverage play into wool and cattle, and really what you need to see here is an uptick in terms of the livestock prices, and we're still seeing weakness in that area. So if we have a look at Elders, it is a company that is struggling to remain above water. Investors, I guess, still quite disappointed with the result, and we'll get some more details probably later on in the week when that report from PBB is due.